Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for tuning in to what's going to be my monthly favorites for the month of August. You know the drill, so let's go ahead and dive in. I first want to talk about some repeats. I'm not going to go too in-depth because I've mentioned them for the past couple of months, some of them many months at this point. They're these usual suspects. Let's start concealer. Tarte Shape Tape. I'm in the shade Light Neutral. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Then there is the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. This has been a favorite for I want to say the past 2 months, maybe just the past month, but it's like one of the most affordable but best volumizing and lengthening mascaras I've ever used. Drugstore, high-end, period. Then on the face, I can't tell if it's just being lazy, like I don't want to walk and dig through all of the blushes and bronzers that I have, or if these are just like really good go-tos, they go with every kind of face I want to do, whether it's a purple eye or a teal eye, or, you know, I've been trying a lot of new eyeshadows, and so these are just good go-to neutral blushers, neutral blush and bronzer. First of which is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is in the light. Is there a deep one? I'm not really sure, but this is the light bronzer. And then there is also the Satin Touch Blush from Essence, and this is in the shade Satin Coral. I think I said this in last month's favorites because, again, this is a repeat, but it says coral. I would say it's more of like a soft apricot. To me, coral is hot and fiery and a brighter mixture of pink and orange, and this is just not. I like it because of the color it is, but coral just isn't the most accurate word I would use to describe that. So those are all of the repeats. Now onto the new stuff. This is one that I haven't actually mentioned in a video at all this month, even though I started using it in the month of August. Because it's part of my skincare routine. Like, even though it's technically a makeup primer, it's the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer with primer and moisturizer in one. Technically a makeup step, but I have been using it not only before makeup, but also just as a general moisturizer. I have combination skin, and so especially in summer, I don't need to like really heavy up on the moisture. And so this has been doing the trick not only under makeup as, you know, a primer obviously, but also just a general moisturizer before I go to bed at night. So this has been living in my bathroom, but you can see I have made some serious headway on this guy. I like it because unlike a lot of other Smashbox primers, it doesn't have that silicone-y feel. I'm always hesitant to try any primer really because so many of them have that super slick, very soft silky finish, but on my skin I just find it hurts more than it helps. It makes my makeup slide off faster sooner than not using a primer would. So I tend to avoid them, and Smashbox tends to have those kinds of primers. That's not the case with this guy. This is very thin. You can see it's almost like a really thin lotion in both look and texture, and so you smooth it onto the skin and my skin absorbs it really quickly, but it's still left with this very soft, even feel. So even though I have, you know, maybe some texture if I am having a dry skin moment, which is very rare for me, but you know, it can even out that texture over there, but it also won't just make the middle of my face just a big old grease slip and slide because it's just a little more moisturizer that I need. So I've really been loving that. Now onto the makeup. The foundation that I've been loving is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid SPF 15. Mine is in the shade NC25, and you might believe it or not, this is the first MAC foundation I have ever used that has been shade matched to me and is my own foundation. Like, I really, it was, in all my years on YouTube, even when I first started and MAC was the brand to have, I had maybe a handful of products. I was always just more interested in, you know, other brands that were kind of up and coming at the time, and so I never fully got into that MAC craze. You guys would ask me occasionally, not a lot, but you know, as a shade reference, what MAC foundation are you? And then based on the foundation shade you mentioned in this other foundation, I can kind of gauge you know, what foundation you are. I could never tell you because I honestly didn't know. So MAC recently got on Octoly. I talk about it here all the time on the channel. It's a way for, you know, people who make videos to, or post to Instagram now, to connect with brands, to get free press samples, but you have to apply for it if it's something you want to try, and the brand will either accept you or not. And if you're accepted, you get to use it, review it, share your honest thoughts. There's no requirement really about what you need to talk about. So they sent this in addition to a strobe cream. This is in the shade, I think it's the shade Red Light, I want to say. It's like this, has kind of a pinky, very subtle iridescence to it, along with the MAC 190 brush. And I have used both of these. I have to say the foundation is among my favorite. It's far thinner than I thought it would be. It just takes a couple of dabs across my face to really, I mean, I'm wearing it today, along with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, but it just gives this really glowy, healthy looking finish to the skin without being too heavy looking or feeling, but it's still full coverage, and it looks like second skin, I feel like. I am wearing the strobe cream today underneath the foundation, but honestly, I find I like it better worn over, which might be weird. When I first got this, I wasn't sure how I was supposed to apply it, and so the first thing I did was, after I applied foundation, is I took these two and dabbed it along the tops of my cheekbones, and I really liked the way that looked. But then I saw somebody else use it underneath their foundation, and so I tried that, and I mean, it's nice. I'm wearing it today, but it's not, I don't know, I feel like I really like it better over the top. So maybe that's just me, and I do like to apply it with this brush. I am not much of a kind of a paintbrush foundation brush. I really like something that can buff and blend things in quickly and easily, and to me, this I have to work more to get brush strokes out of, so I'm not too keen on it for foundation, but I like it for the purpose of the strobe cream, just dabbing it on top. All of that's a real tangent here because the foundation is just a favorite. Moving on to eyes, and this might come as a shock, or it might not. I don't know. This was such a polarizing palette. I've been liking the Subculture palette. Yeah, it has its quirks. Not every shadow is like perfection, certainly not to the extent that the Modern Renaissance palette was. Like, that really is just like the cream of the crop of any brand, in my opinion. That's one of my favorite go-to palettes. Some of these, mostly just like one of these shadows I had real issue with. It was New Wave, which is the orangey one here. That one oxidized the most on me, and it was a little trickier to blend, but over the past couple of videos, I've been wearing this. A lot of you guys have been asking me what I'm wearing if I'm doing a tutorial. I am. I filmed all those looks so that I can do it in kind of you know, 3 or 4 in 1 tutorial using this palette, but it hasn't really been a struggle to use them, so I'm not sure if it's the way that I tend to work with shadows. I also find that the brush that comes with it is the best and easiest way to use these, so I don't know. I don't know if it's this particular palette, if mine is different than other people's, and honestly, there are so many reviews out there at this point that will give you a more in-depth view of what makes this palette different from all the other palettes, so I'm not even going to go into that right now. I'm just speaking from personal experience. I've really been enjoying this, and because I've been using it as much as I have in August, I didn't really feel like I could do a favorites video without mentioning it, so yeah. Moving into what is essentially the Dose of Colors show. This kind of stole the show for me in the month of August. I bought the entire collection. I did a review of that in case you want to see it. I'll link to it down below. But the 3 standout products that I've been loving from it have been the highlighter, Mirame, which is not the shade that I thought I would love. I thought I would like the other one, Fuego. I think that's the shade, the other shade. I thought I would like Fuego more because Mirame looks a little bit bronzier in the pan, but it doesn't. It shears, the color itself shears out a lot from what you see in the pan, on my skin tone anyway, but the highlight is not dull. I mean, the highlight is not dulled whatsoever. So it was just an interesting shift for me to see this kind of tone in the pan, but then just get all highlight across the cheeks. The other one, Fuego, is a little bit more soft golden toned, and I like it, and it's typically the highlighter that I would gravitate towards more, but it's just a little bit too bright, whereas I find this is like all glow for me. So I've really been liking that, and then the 2 lip products that I've liked from the collection, first of which I'm wearing now, and this is the More Creamer Please. This is the one in that review that I said might be a little bit trickier for like everyone to wear, because it has kind of warmer, more orangey undertones, whereas No Shade is a little lighter, a little bit more true neutral, light nude shade. But one of you guys tipped me off in the comments of that video, and I have no idea why it did not dawn on me to do this, but if you just tap it on your lips, or maybe take a little bit on your finger and then pat it on that way, it really softens the color and adds just a soft hint of this shade to your lips. And so that's how I found myself applying this basically every time I've worn it. I'm wearing it today in addition to not a gloss, but it's not the gloss from this collection, although I've really been liking that. I wanted to tie into the purple eye that I'm wearing today, and so to do that I'm using the Butter London Glaze and Lip Glaze, which I haven't heard a whole lot about. They sent this to me maybe a month back at this point, and it kind of took me a while to get into it. But once I did, it's this lip gloss that you kind of twist up to dispense, and it has this gorgeous purpley blue iridescence, and so I thought that might be a little bit of a better pairing to the purple eye, as opposed to the Desi and Katie collection gloss, which is just solid gold shimmer with a clear base. So just for reference, that is what I'm wearing over top. And then the liquid lipstick that I have been liking and will probably continue to like into as the cooler months come rolling through is Sauvage. And this is the deep, dark, plummy purple shade liquid lipstick. It's just absolutely beautiful. And those are it for me. I feel like that kind of wrapped up fast, but that's all she wrote. So as usual, I would love to hear what beauty products you guys have been loving in the month of August, or just in general. Let me know down in the comments below, or what you think of any of the other products that I've mentioned here. Don't forget to check the description bar below for links to any of the reviews that I mentioned. And besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.